Hello and welcome everybody once again to Wednesday night racing action here with the Vigilante Racing League. We're happy to have you all hanging out with us and enjoying some great times. We're live here at Nashville Super Speedway, and I think this is going to be one of the highlight races of the year. I mean, we're already only 5 races in, and we've seen some great racing all season long, and that's just going to continue. We're going to start things off here tonight, like always, with the National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And welcome back. As always, tonight's racing action is brought to you by D&D Race Graphix. That's Graphix spelled G-R-A-F-I-X. If you want a custom paint job made, you can go ahead and look them up over on Facebook and Trading Paints, because they do amazing quality work. And that's for the trucks, cars, whatever you want to race on here. I'm sure Ricky could get you a great paint job out there. So make sure you go give him some love and say thank you for sponsoring these great races. Same thing with his real life business of Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. Not too far from here, I don't think. As Ricky's number there is 423-444-0454. If you're in that housing market, you know, buying, selling, doing something with your house, make sure you give Ricky a call, whether you're in that Johnson City, Tennessee area or across the country. He can help you out, whether that's him doing it personally or getting you in touch with a good quality realtor, because man, this stuff is crazy. Buying, selling houses. Get yourself a good quality realtor and don't do it alone. As always, I'm Alan Brown, and I am joined by my 2 best friends here, Mr. Alan English up here in the booth. Alan, I think we're in store for a great race here tonight.
I think you're right, Alan. I'm glad to see us come back to this track. It's a 1 1/3 miles, and it races like a big track. It's got some pretty cool progressive banking in it. We're seeing a lot of guys having trouble getting off of turn 4 cleanly as they get loose, trying to get the power back down. A lot of people making some ruts across the grass right there in the tri-oval. So hopefully they'll get the hang of it as we get underway tonight.
And as always, down there on pit road with his cooler all stocked up and ready, that's Mr. Adam Turner. Adam, it's gonna be a little warm one here today. What do you expect to see down there on pit road?
I mean, it's hot, so you gotta have the cold ones with you. Looks like we got 1 fast repair, 13x incident points, and you're out. You're disqualified. We'll talk about that during the race a little bit. 70% fuel. That's Sunoco racing fuel. There's only 70%. 5 sets of tires. That's going to be a huge key that we'll definitely talk about. And I don't know. I think it's going to be cool. Very fun track for the drivers, I think. But you're going to have to do a lot of work on those tires. So looking forward to it.
As we see that race info here, nice toasty day. looks like that track temp might start trying to inch its way down here, but I have a feeling once we get all of these drivers out there at the same time, that track temp's just going to shoot right back on up. But otherwise, nice sunshine, shiny day as these drivers take to this crazy bouncy concrete tire tearing everything track, which brings us to that cue of the race. And man, it is hang on tight. So you hit one of these bumps just right, man, you're changing not just a lane but a solid almost 2 lanes.
And speaking of tight, I mean, not only hold on to that wheel tight, but the car's going to get tight. We saw Adam, you can talk a little bit more about it. You ran some test laps here, and that car did start to tighten up on you pretty good after a few laps.
Yeah, about 10 laps in, you're going to have to definitely change your lifting braking point going in those corners, because it's going to get tight, and it's just going to push you up the track if you don't watch yourself. Concrete is tough. It's really bouncy. I think we did a fuel run as well. I don't know. I can't remember what we got, but this thing's they hold a pretty good amount of fuel, but I don't know what's going to go first, tires or fuel.
Well, I think we found out it's somewhere between 45 and 50 laps. It's kind of the top end of your fuel run there. We may see some guys pit a little bit early, kind of short pit that number to make it add an extra stop in there maybe. We'll see. We'll see how these guys are so good at running so many green flag laps. So don't know if cautions are going to play a factor today. We're not going to have a competition caution or anything at halfway. So all the cautions tonight are going to be organic, and we'll see how it goes. It might work some strategies out for some guys.
As we look on through some of these drivers, they have the face cams up, and man, look at that cowboy hat that Austin Paul has. I don't know why it was highlighting Jeff Ottinger there, but we'll talk about Austin Paul. Nice hat there. We're also
not felt season though. I don't know why it's wearing a black hat. It's not felt season yet.
We also are joined by Mr. Jack Dixon, finally making his return to the iRacing scene. He's been away a couple of weeks here, but looking to make a good, solid comeback. As always, we got Derek Welch down there right now. Same thing with Greg Dobson, both drivers just currently not sitting in their cars, but that's all right because qualifying is pretty long, and we do have some penalties to actually talk about here, and it's involving that incident point limit that they instituted here.
Yeah, I didn't get the memo on that one. Who got punched?
I believe it's Chad McCabe and Russell Endicott are having no qualifying, no grid penalties due to a few too many incident points as an average. So they're going to be starting this one from the pit lane here tonight.
Okay, so they're still getting to run.
Yes.
It's going to hurt you, but if you have a caution somewhat early, they'll be fine. But that's it. That's interesting. Yeah, points do count, like the incident points. They collect the data here, and they will punish you. And there's a lot of rules, so you gotta abide by them. One thing I found interesting during my test run is the pit speed limit is 45 miles an hour. So keep eye on that tonight if we have some green flag pit stops.
And coming down onto pit road, that's kind of a sharp little turn there. And you got to get it back down pretty quick. It's the case with these tracks that have that really defined pointed tri-oval. It always makes the pit lane entry kind of difficult because it's a little bit harder of a left turn.
But the best part, it is a left turn. Unlike next week, we got right turns. Road America.
That's right.
That'll be fun. A lot of these guys like that.
Yeah.
We'll try to have fun with that one.
Absolutely.
Brown will, for sure. He loves that road stuff.
I do, as Mark Collins jumps up into third place. Great lap from him. Same thing with Eric Klafka. He's jumping up into fourth, getting some good starting positions here tonight. And I think that's going to be a little bit of the story here, especially early on in this race is, man, with how fast the tires are going to wear out here, that starting position and restart position, man, it's going to make all the difference, whether you got to fight through some traffic to get up towards the front, or if you're just going to hang out in the back and save tires all race long.
Yeah, we know who the guys are that are good at saving tires, and we'll see them kind of taking their time, I'm sure, trying to break them in good and finding a good conservative line to run to save as much rubber as they can.
Well, these drivers have now completed their qualifying efforts, so let's get everything all loaded in here, and we can talk about tonight's starting grid. Timothy Pope wins pole position here, being as strong as always in that 728. Jim Ott having a great effort out there for qualifying. He's going to be starting on that first row outside line in that 205. 223 of Mark Collins of None Thumbs Gaming is going to be starting here in third, with the 11 of Eric Klafka starting in fourth. Fifth, we have the 33 of Jess Vaught, with the 267 of Nathan Stanley with a good qualifying time there. Going to be starting here in sixth. Dave Hot Rod Mayberry driving that 29 is going to start here in 7th, with the 81 of Jonathan Osborne starting in 8th. The 51 of Mike Adamson is going to start here in 9th, with the 3 of Austin Paul rounding out tonight, starting top 10.
Row number 6 is going to be the 48 of Jack the Ripper Dixon on the inside. 7 of Russ Kilgore starting to his outside. Row number 7 is going to be the 208 of Derek Welch. And Kevin Haas in the 224 on his outside. Row number 8 is going to be the 76 of Jeff Ottinger. And the and the 01 of Kelly Keel. Row number 9 is going to be Chandler Paul, Chan the Man in the 72 machine. And Michael Everidge to his outside. And row number 10, and rounding out your top 20, Dustin Reilly and Dion Jones.
Look at that. Number 2, America's driver, sitting kind of far back. Albert Anderson, 21st. He'll work his way to the front. Don't worry about that. Same with the 28 of George Rincon. He's normally up front at the end, but he's sitting there in 22nd to start this thing. 285 of Greg Dobson will be 23rd. 74 of Robert Jordan will sit there starting in 24th. 211. Chad McCabe will be in 25th. The 222 of Poke Salad Tony. That's my new name for him. Tony Poke, sitting there at 26th. And 57 of Russ Endicott will round it out in 28th.
And so that is your starting field here for tonight as the drivers take off down pit road following that pace car, trying to get everything all warmed up and ready to go take this one to the green flag. I think quite a few surprising names out there on that front of that leaderboard. I mean, as always, we expect, Timothy Pope, Jess Vaught, Eric Klafka can even throw some great times in there. But, man, Mayberry in the top 10, Austin Paul in that top 10. You got Jim Ott, one of the rookies here this season. Same thing with Mark Collins. We got a little bit of a mix-up going on.
Yeah, we heard from Dave Hot Rod Mayberry a couple of times. He's sending it this season, and don't get in his way. He'll definitely talk some crap about you on Facebook. We love it when the guys get stirred up a little bit on Facebook as the pace car's coming down.
It comes on down that kind of tight entrant point into pit road. The flagman is up and waving. We are green flag racing here as these drivers go across the line 2 by 2. Timothy Pope and Jim Ott going even. Steven, I think maybe Jim Ott even lifted just a little bit just so he could tuck right down into line right behind Mr. Pope as they go 1, 2, 3 for Pope, Ott, and Klafka. You got a little battle going on behind them, though. You got Mark Collins there fighting with Nathan Stanley in that 267 as the 33 at Jess Vaught had to check up big time. He had a mega run on some of these guys. He's also got Jonathan Osborne right there on the outside as well, as we are 2 wide, almost 3 wide right behind them as well.
That makes me nervous to get stacked up side by side like that coming through the tri-oval on lap number 2.
But what an awesome first lap, man. There's a lot of movement. They held it on those colder tires. I think everybody's just kind of feeling it out, but looking really good.
Yeah, the Anderson crew is out tonight on Facebook. Kathleen, Albert, and Edie. Thank y'all all so much for joining us. Of course, they're pulling for the number 2 out there today.
Why wouldn't they, as Speaking of Albert Anderson, he's already up 3 spots, moved up into 18th there, so he's off to a great start as Nathan Stanley sets the fastest lap of the race here early on. Sitting right there in 4th right now. We've still got some battles going on behind him, though. Dave Hot Rod Mayberry and Mike Adamson almost going nose to tail, bumper to bumper, but they're going to have to try to figure things out as the 33 of Vaught looks down to the inside of Jonathan Osborne, and he's going to steal that position away. And this is one of those situations, like I said early on, is, man, you got to make your passes early or just commit to that tire saving strategy, because I think it's going to be dang near impossible to start passing people here, 15 laps into a run.
Well, something I just noticed too, 3 of the top 5 are rookies in this series this season, so these guys have been some to watch. Ott, Stanley, Collins up there really making a challenge today. Good to see Numb Thumbs Machine up there challenging. But thank you, Earl Evans, for joining us today on YouTube. He's not going to make it to the race today. He's got to work, but he's pulling for White Knuckle Racing. Alabama Old Man says we're live on Numb Thumbs Gaming Radio. Thanks to all those guys out there trucking tonight. Oh, 3 wide in the tri-oval there.
Well, hell yeah on that one, but look, McCabe and Endicott starting in the pits is a huge problem right now because the leaders are already running them down. They're about to be put a lap down here, so watch out up front. Let's see what happens with that lap traffic.
Man. Kelly Kiel, big time loose, went all the way down to the apron in the tri-oval, but able to get it straightened out before he cut across the grass.
Yeah, still trying to get that thing back onto the racing line. He had to really slow up heading off into turns 1 and 2, as just up ahead of him, still right around where Derek Welch is in 11th. You got Mike Adamson and Chandler Paul. These guys have been flip-flopping between 3 wide, 2 wide, single file, all within 200 feet.
Yeah, definitely exciting so far. Let's see. Angry Indian 89 joining us over on the Twitch page. Thank you, as always, for joining us again.
Well,
hey, we'll
pretty good.
Evan's still down there on the apron.
Well, he's just letting them through, I think, at this point. That's Russ Endicott there. Man, 51 of Mike Adamson. He's having a pretty good little run, but look at his paint scheme. Amazing.
Man, that got close there. Is Russ, man, he's doing his best to stay out of everybody's way. The problem is there's really not much room anywhere on this track. I know the track looks wide, but if you're doing it right, you're using up every single inch of that thing, and it gets a little narrowed there around some of these spots as Jim Ott takes the lead away from Timothy Pope and is now trying to do his best with that clean air to run away with it. But man, we already know Tim. He's looking at fighting back, and there he goes, peeking to the inside here as they come back across the line. They're about nose to nose, 2 wide, racing for the lead.
So far, so good. This has been a pretty exciting first few laps here.
Ooh.
We're just getting started.
Yeah, look at that. I think Derek Welch had a little issue. We were talking about getting tight into 1. He kind of pushed up the corner, lost a little momentum, but he didn't lose ground. Picked it back up. Good racing all the way around here.
Haven't seen anybody scrape the wall just yet. Osborne came close just now. Coming in front of the grandstands at the front of the track, close to the start-finish line.
And I've been kind of keeping a little eye on Osborne there. He really hasn't left that outside, even when he's had room on the inside. Oh, as he makes contact with Derek Welch coming down the back straightaway. He's going to lose a lot of speed from that. Looks like both drivers able to keep those cars under control, but Jonathan Osborne, man, he's I don't know whether he wants to stay on that high side or if he eventually wants to come on down and race the racing line everyone else is using, but he's been stuck on that outside for quite a while.
He did just key up on his radio apologizing to the driver of the 208.
Well, and they doored him a little bit, but there's no real damage, I don't think. So, no big deal on that one. But is Jonathan trying to save tires by doing that? What's his strategy? Or, maybe he's just kind of learning the car out on this track. Not quite sure.
Who knows? It maybe could just been a momentary thing of not
squirrel or something.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. And I mean, sometimes these cars can just drift around. You might think you have it under control, but man, it's pretty easy to just go up and down the track without even knowing it.
Rom joining us over on the YouTube. Been a while since we've seen you, our friend over there. Our friend up in Minnesota. He says that hey, turn around, head down the pit road right now. He says got an ice cold 30-pack of hams and a 42-pack of natty ice. Does he think we're going to be here for a couple of weeks?
Well, he's from Minnesota. He could probably down half of that. So he thinks I can down the other half. So I'll bring it on down. We'll knock it out as much as we can.
I mean,
Thanks for joining us.
A week-long ice fishing trip here.
No, it's hot out. We need cold beverages.
That's true.
Speaking of commenting, man, you can get to be the fan of the race, super fan of the race. You get a little bit of money thrown your way if you keep commenting and talking about what's happening out on the track. We like hearing from everybody out there, so keep it up.
As we saw the 33 of Jess Vaught overtake the 11 of Eric Klafka for that third position. So Eric Klafka down into fourth, but still sitting pretty good. He doesn't have too much pressure behind him right now, but Nathan Stanley in that 267 is inching his way forward. We just saw the 7 of Russ Kilgore make a pass on Hot Rod Mayberry there for 8th place, as Austin Paul has found his way up into 7th. Mark Collins still doing pretty good up there, still hanging around in 6th, down a couple positions, but still hanging out with the big boys, that they would say. And looks like he's trying to get a run here on that 267 to move back up into 5th, and it looks like he will get that position. As we kind of keep looking back through this field, you have that 48 of Jack the Ripper Dixon. He's trying to make his way back through this field. He's got Chandler Paul right in front of him right now. Those guys on the same Cult of Chaos racing team. Oh, as the 48 goes and dips down and touches that apron into turns 1 and 2. That's definitely not going to help his cause out there. He's going to lose a few positions from losing all of that momentum he had built up. As you can see, the number 2 blacked out car of Albert Anderson. I think that's in reference to one of the little snippets that he and Hot Rod Mayberry got into. Albert wants to just sneak right on up to Mayberry here tonight.
I just noticed something with these lap times. The front 8 drivers all have sub 31:10 lap times as their best lap time, except for one. The leader, Timothy Pope, he's just running a little bit more consistent laps right now, I think. And I think that's going to be a winning strategy, just trying to be consistent every lap instead of going out there and trying to make a hot lap. And, you know, he's going to see I think he's going to see a little bit less tire fall off here as he's up there in clean air as well. That helps a lot, too.
So we got the 76 of Jeff Ottinger driving his traditional Cessna paint scheme here tonight. He's hanging around, still inside that top 20 right now. He's got Kelly Keel coming up on the inside if he's not too careful. It looks like Kelly is going to try to maybe sneak and squeeze his way on through. Oh, just getting a little tight there in 3 and 4, having to lift out of it.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a loose condition early, we saw, and now it's fighting him on the tight side.
Well, Derek Welch and Mike Adamson and Hot Rod Mayberry all battling out 9, 10, 11. Really good battle, and right in front of them, Russ Kilgore is battling it out a little bit with Nathan Stanley and Austin Paul. Good stuff all over.
So you can see Hot Rod driving with ice in his veins. That driver staying very still there. Of course, that's the AI driver. I'm sure these guys are bumping and moving around here, as looks like we got some good racing action here going along with the 7 of Kilgore and the 3 of Paul again. Man, these guys have been around each other. Same thing with Nathan Stanley. He started hemorrhaging positions here a little bit, but still inside this top 10, trying to hang on to that 8th right now.
Yeah, he may see the bleeding start to stop once they start, the tires start to kind of level out a little bit. How hard are you going to push this thing? I mean, what are you looking at for pit strategy here? Are you going to try to run it out of fuel? Are you going to try to stop a little bit shorter, maybe turn this into like a 3-stop race?
I'm personally just going to go as long as I can on the tires. So you're going to have to baby them a little bit because what did we say our window? 40 something to 45 to 50?
Yeah, 44 to 50.
So I know at this point the tires are, you're going to have some pretty good fall off, but another 10, 15 laps, it's going to be pretty tough. So it's really going to be up to the individual driver and team perspective, how these teams work.
As we were side by side for second place there, the 33 of Jess Vaught squeaks his way through and passes Jim Audis. Oh no, Chandler Paul.
Got several on the infield as well. 2 cars stopped up in the corner.
Oh, the 48 of Jack the Ripper Dixon involved in that one too.
Albert Anderson on the infield, able to get it back onto the track. No yellow so far.
And it looks like everyone other than those 3 able to keep it together and stay on that racing surface. Let's go back and see what happened here between Jan the Man and Jack the Ripper Dixon, heading off down into turn number 1. Got the 50. Oh no, I think that was the 82. Excuse me.
Everidge.
Mike Everidge just tapping Chandler Paul there, and that got Jack Dixon involved as well. And Albert Anderson did his best to avoid all of it. His car looks like it's okay, not much damage there, but tough break for those drivers, especially 2 out of those drivers, all from the Cult of Chaos.
Well, it looked like Chandler Paul was checking up. He was going a little bit faster than the cars in front of him. I think he checked up, and Mike Everidge just unfortunately couldn't get off the gas quite in time and touched the back of 72 there and sent him around.
They're having a little conversation, I think, about why wasn't there a caution, but admin throws the cautions here. I mean, that's the kind of the rules. Seems like we're chugging along pretty good without the caution. I know it's going to hurt for those guys that were involved, though.
And 25 laps into this 150 lap bout around Nashville Super Speedway, and so far the show has been phenomenal. Jess Vaught and Jim Ott still going at it here in second place. Jim was trying to do a pass on the outside of Jess, just not quite able to make that one work, as Nathan Stanley, he is really struggling on these older tires now. Been seeing him drift out wide in quite a few of these turns. He just let the 208 of Derek Welch by on the inside here, so Derek Welch now securely up into that top 10, running in 9th. And now Stanley's got Dave Hot Rod Mayberry hunting down the top 10.
Yeah, thanks to Tim Claiborne for joining us over on the Facebook feed. He's out there, wouldn't you know it, pulling for Albert Anderson. Let's see who else we got. We got our buddy Alan Kewins joining us over on YouTube. AAA Best in the Biz. Thank you, sir. We sure appreciate it. He says this is one of his favorite tracks, and it's a pretty good show tonight. Earl Evans saying it's 8 o'clock where he's at. It's still 90 degrees outside. Trust me, man. I feel your pain. Today was actually pretty cool today, and I think it was 95 when I was cutting grass.
Yeah, I had it 95 at 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night the other night. So
it's rough, man. We feel your pain.
Yeah, Chandler Paul looks like he's about to get passed. Is that Adamson there in the 51? The good looking machine. He holds him off.
Limitless, guys. Put on the show.
Yeah, that he is Chan the Man trying to work his magic back from that incident. Of course, we still got some racing here left to go. A few little battles going on. We saw Tony Pope there overtake Dion Jones for the 20th place position here. As you all know, man, positions all matter. No matter where you finish. As soon as we get a good little break, we can break into what the points kind of look like here. It's definitely no runaway for sure. We also have that 285 of Greg Dobson right now. He's having a battle with the 37 of Kelly Keel.
Well, and you know the sneakiest one right now looks like up the most spots, number 7, Russ Kilgore. I think he's well improved from last season, and he's always been consistent top 10, seems like, so far this year. So,
and consistently one of the best guys at passing cars and making up positions. He's really, really good.
He just made up another one, up 8 spots.
He is side by side on the outside line, going against the 11 of Eric Klafker right now, trying to get his name up into that top 4. Of course, you got that 223 of Mark Collins as well. He's looking to make a little comeback here. Still down 3 positions on the day from where he started, but still in 6th position here, which is doing pretty well.
Edith Anderson saying Team Anderson's in the house. And Audrey's here as well. Saying put that pedal to the metal. Albert Anderson II joining us. That's Albert Anderson III's pop. He says he thought it probably should have been a caution there too. We saw 3 cars involved. A couple of them got off the track, off the racing surface there. There was a couple that were stranded. Hey, that's the judgment call we live with there, and they were able to get it worked out. But yeah, sometimes it looks like there should be caution. Sometimes a caution gets thrown, and we look at it and say, I think I would have thrown it there. Just saw the 3 get up into the wall in the tri-oval and the outside wall there. Scraped a little bit. Didn't look like it slowed him down too much.
Now that 3 of Austin Paul has been trying his best to stay up inside of this top 10 right now in 9th as the 208 of Derek Welsh squeaks his way back around him here. We've still got a fight going on between Mike Adamson and Eric Klafka here. Mike Adamson, he looks like he's one of those guys that saved his tires early on, and he's now going to start cutting his way up through this field, and I think he's going to have a fairly easy time of doing it.
Well, with 5 sets of tires as the limit, including the one they started on, I don't know if that's going to really come into play. You should be able to, even if you make it a 3-stop race, 4-stop race, you know, you're going to have 4 fresh tires waiting on you each time, and you really need that here, don't you, Adam? I mean, this concrete track is like sandpaper tearing these tires.
I would, you know, you got to run kind of conservative. I would want to have an extra set in case something crazy happens. Maybe at the end you think you can, you know, pull some shenanigans off with a pit stop, and if you have that extra set of tires, you may be able to, you know, do something if there's a caution near the end. So you got to be conservative. Don't burn them all up. Don't use them all up. I would try to save one if you could.
Man,
Go ahead, sir.
I was just going to say Jim Ott and Jess Vaught. Talk about 2 names that sound very similar, and man, they are having a battle out there. That 205 of Ott just overtook Jess Vaught for 2nd place here once again. Jim kind of in one of those positions where he didn't have to make up nearly as many spots as Jess did here on the start, so maybe his tires are just a little fresher, but both drivers doing a great job here. But of course, look at who's out in front there. That's Mr. Timothy Pope. He is free and clear by almost a 2.25 seconds.
Sorry about that. My brain froze there for a second. Greg Dobson, the 285, another one of those guys that made up a few positions from where he started. It looks like he's dropping back a little bit now.
Your brain froze. That's typical. That's that damn Louisiana swamp water getting to you.
That's what it is. It's that amoeba or something.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Whoa, that was crazy, wasn't it?
Was that, who's in that yellow and purple machine
It's the
up there?
211. 211 of Chad McCabe. He's having a rough night. Looks like we got some takers coming down a pit road here pretty soon, calling it out.
So here we go, lap 38. Alan, that's a little earlier than we thought.
A little earlier, but it'll be interesting to see which of these guys do come in. Robert Jordan's coming in. Looks like Jack the Ripper Dixon. Jack was also involved in one of those incidents, though, so he was probably due to come down a little bit earlier. But I got a feeling we're going to see the guys that made up the most spots early on really pushing those tires early. They're going to be one of the first ones to come down. And I mean, we're still almost inside of that window, right around 40 laps that you were thinking. So I don't think this is going to throw them too far off schedule as the 51 of Mike Adamson comes on down into pit road. And he was one of the ones we were saying looked like he was saving tires a little bit and was starting to make his ground up.
This is going to be a 3-stop race. That's what the strategy is right now, I guarantee you, because 150 divided by 4 is 37.5. These guys pitted right at 38, so I think that's what they're shooting for. I think they're adding an extra stop in there.
Look at the big brains on English. You know how to do division.
Simple division? Yeah, I can with a calculator.
Oh, I'll be damned. But yeah, no, I think you're right. Maybe that they're doing it that simple, or I'm sure the other guys probably have a different strategy. You know, I mean, push it as long as you can. I don't know. We're not in these team chats. We're not in there with the crew chiefs, but yeah, that's kind of what's fun to kind of watch how it plays itself out.
That's exactly
We're just guessing up here. We really have no skin in the game. We don't really know. We're just commentating and watching the race like everybody else.
Now, I didn't see what, if anything, happened there, but Timothy Pope, he's losing a lot of time now to Jim Ott and Jess Vaught. I mean, it's not even close. We're talking big differences of speed here, so I wonder if Tim had snagged the outside wall there just a little bit. Looking on the outside of the car, though, it looks pretty fine.
Said Tim Pope. Let me rewind here. I'll see if I can find something.
Yeah, Mott's down in the pits.
So there we go. The first of the top three breaking down into pit road as Jess Vaught is now battling with a new tired up 48 of Jack the Ripper Dixon. This is where you're really going to see the difference in speed. Watch that 48 just absolutely drive away here as he's got that grip in the corners now. He can really push it and not have to lift as much, carry all that speed through.
Yep, here comes Pope down pit road. I rewound the tape there. I didn't see Pope hit anything, so I don't know if he was just, it may have been a swing and a miss trying to get onto pit lane.
Who knows? As the 11 of Eric Klafka follows Tim Pope, Jess Vaught down. Same thing with Derek Wells. Jonathan Osborne is going to stay out there, and so Jonathan's going to end up getting a lap-led bonus point here tonight.
Well, Alan Keelan saying this is one of his favorite tracks. Well, tell us why, guys. What do you like about Nashville? Do you like this track? Do you not like it? Tell us why. Let us know in the comments section. We definitely read all the comments.
I think it's a lot of it's the skill involved with the racing surface. It's very bumpy. It's very old. You know, it's concrete, hot. So it takes a little bit more extra planning and skill. I think in Alan Keelan's, we know he's a good driver. So that's probably why he likes it, because he thinks he can take advantage of people that don't really put that much brain power into it. But it's not just turning left. There's a lot that goes into this NASCAR stuff, especially here on iRacing.
A lot of strategy, a lot of, like you said, tire fall off. How do you manage that? How do you manage your fuel? There's a lot that goes into it. Ford got a little bit loose there. Dion Jones, a little bit loose right there in front of the 728 of Pope. Looks like he's going to stay high here and let Pope around.
That's what it looks like as both Tim Pope and Jess Vaught came out nose to tail here as Jim Ott, man, he gets the undercut of a century. He's now leading this thing by over 2 seconds. And he had a pretty decent pit stop, but not as good as Mike Adamson. Holy moly, we're going to have to check the tape on that one. A 13.70 in the pits, but that's not even the quickest one out there. Jeff Ottinger, man, he really had a quick pit stop, so he put in the money to get the best pit crew out here, a 13.20.
You think these guys took a little bit of fuel out just because they knew they were going to make an extra stop, maybe?
I mean, that's possible with that difference in the pit time, or they have some kind of amazing crew, and it does randomize. I think we have a randomized deal with the pit crews here on iRacing. So they might have taken a little bit of fuel out.
I mean, really, what takes the longest is the timers. I don't know why it would be that much faster.
All I can say is talent getting into that pit box. The better you can line that thing up and make sure your tire guys don't have to move up and down the car trying to get to where their positions is supposed to be, and the quicker they can do their job.
True simulation. That's why iRacing is really cool. It's most of us can't afford to have a real car, so this is about as good as we can do, and it's a lot of fun and pretty cool hobby these guys are doing, and I love watching it. I think y'all do as well.
As the 2 of America's driver, Albert Anderson, has a little battle here with the 28 of George Rincon. This is a battle for 16th. Oh, almost touching each other there as they're heading through turns 3 and 4. Looks like Albert will be able to get that run to stick, and he's going to squeeze that position right on by George.
Do you think that no paint on that thing, all that stealth mode Toyota might have helped him there, not having all that extra paint as weight? He just snuck it through George Rincon.
Definitely got the B2 bomber paint job out there right now. Right there behind Jack the Ripper Dixon.
As you got the 3 of Austin Paul running down Dave Hot Rod Mayberry right now.
3 wide in the tri-oval's scary, man. The 211 was on the apron and he had 2 guys above him. That scared me for a second.
Side by side he goes. Looks like the 3 is maybe trying to make that pass on the outside line. He's got the run here on Hot Rod. They're going to still be side by side across the line, heading off into turns 1 and 2. Still side by side. Neither driver given an inch. Got the 3 now getting that run coming out of turn number 2. Ooh, that was a big rumble of thunder here as the 3 of Paul was able to snag that spot away from Hot Rod.
Let's watch a little action back there. The 48 was pinching Albert Anderson there. I don't know what happened. You see that?
Up on the radio. Albert queued up on the radio and said, man, why are you fighting so hard for this position?
Man. Yeah, that was interesting. So keep an eye on that.
It's fun to watch.
48 looked a little looser out of 2, so we'll see. Jack Dixon showing no mercy here.
Yeah, I like it when they race hard. Trying to pass Newman out there, huh?
Just about as George Rincon looking like he's going to try to squeeze that spot back. Oh, the 2 of Albert Anderson just gets into that rear end of that 48 just a little bit. Maybe saying, hey, man, you know, it's all fun and games until some of us get a little angry.
He's definitely just letting him know he's there. Check out the 28 and the 01 working their way through some of this traffic here. Chandler Paul, I think he might be on a little bit older tires there. 28 and 01 now fighting each other side by side coming around the front by the pit exit.
That's George Rincon and Kelly Keel, both drivers. Man, they're both extremely talented and looking to make up some positions here throughout this long run that we've got going on here. 55 laps in here at Nashville Super Speedway. Jim Ott's lead has been eaten away by Timothy Pope and Jess Vaught. Now just all 3 of those guys can be covered by a blanket of 1 second. And speaking of which, I see Kathleen Anderson asking a great question. What do the changing numbers under their names represent? That is the interval between each of the drivers. So how much space is between that driver and the person in front of them?
But speaking of Anderson, yeah, this is getting a little much. I guess Dixon is not want to get past for the lap, maybe, and he's really holding his ground, and Albert's not putting up with it. He's hit him a couple times, kind of slowing Albert Anderson down in number 2, so might see some anger here in a minute.
Well, that's the thing. Jack Dixon has no obligation to let cars around. It's a racing deal.
No, but he's blocking and he's pinching. See, look at there. And now Albert lost it trying to get it. That's going to be some bad blood there.
That's the game you play, though, you know.
He was able to keep it under control through that grass and rejoin the racing surface. Looks like, who's that? The 72 of Chan the Man was able to give him a little bit of room coming back onto the racetrack. So Albert Anderson able to hang on there, but maybe some bad blood is brewing. We also got a battle here between Dustin Reilly and the 224, Kevin Haas, as they were side by side coming across the line.
It's a long season, man, and these guys got long memories. I've never seen a race car driver that forgot about what happened on the racetrack 20 years ago.
Never forget, never. But Albert was, he was racing his race. I think he got pinched a little bit, and in my opinion, might have been a little much. But we'll see what happens. Hey, that's part of the fun. We'll give some love taps out. He's still running. Let's
race how you want to be raced. Look,
there
here
it comes
we go.
again. He tried to squeeze him again. Oh, Albert got past him this time.
That he did, as Nathan Stanley, he's probably looking around him saying, man, just get me out of here. I do not want to be a part of this, as he's just going to let that 2 of Anderson go right back on by.
You can feel it like when you're in a tavern or something, and the vibe just gets like, it might be time for me to step on out.
Oh, I've been in a few joints like that. Papa Joe's is one of them. Whew.
As we did have another lead change here, that 728 of Timothy Pope during all that action back there, kind of middle of the field, sneaks past that 205 of Jim Ott, but Jim Ott still really not going anywhere. He's still hanging out there in second. He does have Jess Vaught hanging right there on his rear end. I wouldn't be surprised if we might see some bumping and banging action up here towards the front here coming up soon too.
Albert's pop saying, hey, keep your cool out there, son. And Tim Claiborne saying, safety first, brother.
Well, you got to finish the race, but let's have some fights, man. Let's have some fun. I thought that was a good example of fun racing, a little bit of extracurricular stuff. I loved it. I want to do a quick shout out to D&D Race Graphics and Keller Williams, Johnson City, Tennessee. Those are race sponsors tonight here in Nashville. We're having a heck of a show. So, Johnson City, Tennessee, not too far away from Nashville. I'm guessing it's in the same state, nonetheless. So, check them out.
I don't think Tennessee's all that big. I know they got some mountains, and so it can be a little long to get across
long
there.
And
But
skinny.
It's like long and skinny.
Memphis to Bristol. You gotta figure that distance right there. It's a couple hundred miles, I'm sure.
Probably 500. I don't know. We're digressing here, but really good racing so far.
Jack
Obviously,
Nixon in the wall.
uh-oh.
he just managed to come out of it as the leaders were coming screaming on by. You can see there that 222. He's Tony Polka is kind of in that middle of that mix as well right now. I think he knows what position he's in. He's just going to try to be as consistent as he possibly can here, and hopefully that 33 of Vaught is going to be able to find a way around him. And looks like Jess is going to maybe try to diamond the corner here a little bit, try to pick up a little extra run, just not quite having it though.
Ooh, check out the 224 Kevin Haas in the Budweiser machine.
Yeah.
Passing Dave Hot Rod Mayberry. Kevin Haas has some damage to the back right. Doesn't look like it's affecting him. Really clean pass there. As they're going into turn 2 now.
And the 76 of Jeff Ottinger wanted to follow him right on through, just wasn't able to keep that momentum up and running through turns 1 and 2. So he's going to have to wait a little bit longer to try to make that pass. And this is a battle to get up into that top 10. Dave Mayberry holds that 10th spot right now, so you know he's going to be fighting to hang on to that thing.
I was watching our lone Texan out here, the 74, Robert Jordan, out there. Trying to stay on the lead lap as long as he could. He's still right there about where he started as far as position goes, but he's now being shown a lap down. I think he's the third car 1 lap down.
So got some great racing action going out there. Same thing with the 11 of Eric Klafka. He just made a pass on the 208 of Derek Welch here through turns 1 and 2, excuse me. able to squeeze right on by that 208. The 208, Derek Welch having a great night, up 6 spots on the day so far, looking to definitely continue improving upon that. But of course, as always, that 7 of Russ Kilgore up 8 spots, hanging on to 4th place right now. He's got a big gap, 10, almost 11 seconds up to where the top 3 currently are. And man, those guys have just found a totally separate gear that these guys have.
They are, but we have a lot of cool stuff happening back here. Look at Derek Welch in the 208 with Klafka. They're battling out. Look at that paint job on that Toyota. Numb Thumbs Gaming 208. And Klafka with the KOK Racing with a chicken on it. Yeah, it reminds me of a certain movie you used to watch.
Yeah, still side by side. Noses just about even. Looks like the 208's going to have the run coming down the back straightaway here. He's going to take that position back away from Eric Klafka, and let's see if he uses that bottom line, and he does. So doing his best to maintain and maybe try to squeeze his way up into a top 5 here for that 208 as Mike Adamson finds his way around the 7 of Russ Kilgore.
Well, I know the Numb Thumbs guys, the 208 of Welch, the 223 of Collins, and the 267 Nathan Stanley, all of their brethren over there in Numb Thumbs Radio Land are listening to them right now as we're simulcast over there. Guys over there hauling logs for Spatty and Trucking right now, they're done knocked me off the top of the list for the log hauling contest. So somebody's going to win $100 over there within the next few days, but I don't think it's going to be me anymore.
Yeah, speaking of that 223, Mark Collins started up towards the front, but right now it's sitting in 15th. He had a poor first round of pit stops there, one of the longest times we have seen. So he's definitely looking to make a comeback as he was racing with some pace, but right now he's got to deal with a fighting Kelly Keel.
Yeah, another battle out there would be Russ Kilgore and Mike Adamson for 4th and 5th. They're kind of going after each other too.
Jim Ott steals that first spot away from Tim Pope once again, and Tim Pope's not taking too kindly to it. He's going to try to get his way back. Of course, coming here onto lap 72, so we're going to start looking at drivers making their next round of pit stops here fairly shortly, and it's going to be interesting to see if Jim Ott does that kind of short pit strategy again and come down to a relatively empty pit lane.
Be occurring within about the next 3 or 4 laps, I believe, if they stick to their strategy.
Well, you are Mr. Math. I think you're the Louisiana Math champion.
Not even close.
Yeah, some people could throw some kinks in the machine, so to say, because they could change. You can change up how far you want to run it and the tires. And it's all a team strategy here. So what they did the first pit stop, they may change it up for the second. I don't really know, but there's starting to be some marbles up high. I don't know if that's going to affect anybody.
It's going to affect some of these guys that have kind of been accidentally finding themselves drifting up there through these turns, especially as the tires wear out, because when you hit those marbles, man, you can't get that thing to turn for what it's worth, let alone even slow down, so you're going to be into that wall quicker than you know it, as we saw the 82 of Mike Everidge get a pass here on Hot Rod Mayberry, who's going to take a leisurely stroll down into the pit lane. Same thing with Mark Collins. So got our next round of pit stops all starting just after halfway.
And I love the side-by-side action we're getting here. These Xfinity cars, they are a handful, and I'm so glad. I love the truck racing that we saw the last few seasons, but this change in platform, go to the Xfinity car, it has really made the racing fun, challenging. I mean, these guys look like they're having a blast out there.
That they do, as Albert Anderson is the next victim to go a lap down, but still not too bad. He's in that lucky dog spot for right now. He does have George Rincon right now under a little bit of heat from these leaders. He's going to try to stay on to this lead lap as much as he can. As looks like Kevin Haas is coming down into pit lane. Same thing with the 285 of Greg Dobson.
It's going to take quite a big accident for them to be throwing yellow flags in this league. So, I mean, lucky dog, I mean, if you are in lucky dog position, that's great, but don't count on a caution fly unless there's a big.
As you can see,
it's not a guarantee by any means.
So you can see the 4 of Dion Jones giving Timothy Pope a few bit of a fight here, looking to bob and weave his way. As just saw another round of pit stops, and so it's not only just the 2 wide 4 position racing that we've been seeing here tonight, but we've also seen a good mix of lap traffic getting involved here.
And that just throws another wrench in your plans, when you're trying to find your line and trying to make a pass, and having that lap traffic out there. I mean, that's what the guys deal with in real life. So I mean, it's real interesting to see that happen out here.
Yeah, part of it's a product of no cautions, right? So it's going to happen. You're going to get into lap traffic if we're not going to have cautions here where we stack them and rack them. But that kind of stuff could play into the end of the race. There may be an issue at the end of the race here with lap traffic and stuff. So it's always all these variables. That's what a lot of fun about racing.
Oh, as Tim Pope makes a little bit of a mistake there, Jess Vaught able to squeeze his way around. So Jess Vaught up into his highest position on the night so far. He's up into second. Jim Ott still out there in the lead. Of course, these top 3 are still 12 seconds clear of that 51 Mike Adamson, but don't sleep on him. He can make up that much ground with how much race is remaining here. He's a very quick driver. Russ Kilgore as well, still in that top 5. Having a little battle between some of the people that have already pitted. You see the 224 and the 76, Kevin Haas and Jeff Ottinger came down separate times here for their pits, but they came out relatively close to each other, and this is a battle for a top 15 spot.
Yeah, as you were talking.
Go ahead.
No, as you were talking about Pope, he nicked the wall as he approached turn 1. I don't think it hurt him, but a little tire action, tire wear might be affecting him a little bit now at this point.
He's starting to make mistakes now,
Ooh, man, that was
the difference in speed right there.
Yeah, I think you were seeing the same thing I was seeing.
3 in the 57 and the 224 all together there.
So here on lap 83, when are these leaders going to come down for their second lineup of pit stops and tires and everything? Well, here comes Albert Anderson. He's going to make the dive down into pit lane. He's already hasn't really fully cycled through, but he managed to find himself up into a top 10 there late. So who knows? Albert Anderson just might be able to stick this one out and get a good finish there for his Limitless team. Of course, every position matters, whether it's for the driver championship or even for the team championship, because that's an aspect they added for this year. They've had teams, but they didn't really have a team championship. Well, that's all changed around here this time around, as we have a little bit of a break in action going on here. Let's talk about what those current standings are for each of those. We'll first take a look here at the overall championship standings. You can see there, Jess Vaught up into the lead with 110 points. Mike Adamson with some solid finishes here. He's right there at 103. Kelly Keel still there with that win, 101 points. Same thing with Timothy Pope at 100. So no one's really run away with this one yet. Quite a few of these guys still within striking distance, including Jeremiah Burke. He's been there. It doesn't look like he's here tonight, but he's up there even at 99 points. And
I
then,
don't think we have Jeremiah here tonight.
Oh, he's not here today.
same thing with
Pope's coming down. Pope's coming down.
There's Vaught as well.
Oh, Jess Vaught loses it, coming down into pit lane and hits the inside wall.
Wow.
Oh, big mistake for that 33. He's going to probably use his fast repair here. And as we take a look at the current team standings, you see Team Limitless up there. And this is the combined total of the top 3 finishers for that team at 124 points. Limitless right out in front of Vigilante Force, out in front there at 104. You also got Wicked Loose. I don't know why the full team name isn't showing up here, but still anybody's race for the team championship as well.
Yeah, Audrey Sessions out there saying slow and steady might win the race, but Team Anderson, please feel free to speed it up out there in the tube machine. Edith Anderson has a question for us. She says, do the racers have gauges on their console to tell them the need for gas or tires? There is what they call a black box where they can cycle through and look at different aspects of the car, including fuel level and how much they're using. It also can show you what the tire temps and wear was on the last set of tires that were taken off of the car, but it won't show you what your current tire data is looking like. But these drivers, they sure can feel it. They can tell when it's time to get a set of tires. And they can always go back and look at that data after they finish a pit stop and see what their wear level was on each individual tire and adjust their driving style as necessary.
Yeah, and they can hear it in their ear as well. They got a crew chief that'll tell them all that data as well. So
Great
they do have a little help out there. But 16, 17, 18, Kelly Keel, Mark Collins, Greg Dobson. A little battle out here. This is looking pretty fun.
That it is, and Jess has a lot of ground to make up after that poor pit entry, just losing it coming on in, maybe a little too hard on the brakes, making that back end a little bit squirrely as Jim Ott regains the lead here once again. He's going to have like a 5.5 second lead over Timothy Pope. Derek Welch, who kind of had a really early pit stop there, pitted on lap 73. He's found his way up into a podium spot here. He's going to try to hold off that charging 33 of Jess Vaught here, trying to come up and make up a ton of time as Jonathan Osborne makes his way down into the pits. And I think that's going to be it. Everybody has made their next round of, not Chad McCabe, I don't think. Chad still needs to do one more go around through the pits here. As Jess Vaught, driving angry here, sets the fastest lap of the race.
Dustin really started back in 19th place, is currently being scored in 10th. Kind of quietly moving his way up through the field tonight. Hadn't really talked about him too much tonight. Kind of been flying under the radar, but he's been passing some cars out there, whether we've covered it or not.
Yahtzee.
Ashley Osborne is saying, "Go Johnny, go!" Pulling for her brother Jonathan out there in the 81. Jonathan, I'm sure he wishes he had a little bit better showing today so far. He's still hanging in there, though, one lap down, back in 21st spot.
Okay, but still, we are approaching lap 100 here kind of quick, and we had 27 drivers start their engines here tonight, and so far 27 drivers still out there running, so these guys are definitely getting their arm a workout. That is for sure, as man, this battle between Jeff Ottinger and Dustin really has been going on for the last 3 or 4 laps now. Looks like Jeff finally getting the run that he wants on the inside line. Let's see if he can make it stick, though, and through turns 1 and 2, and it looks like he will, as Dave Hot Rod Mayberry as well. He's looking to sneak up the inside of teammate Dustin really here.
You're going to see some of these guys that have been on this this pit strategy of pitting about every 38 laps or so. If they can pit in about lap 114, 115, You know, they're going to be good to the end, and they're going to have some decent tires under them. I mean, hopefully a lot of these guys will save an extra set, as Adam mentioned during the pre-race.
That is for sure. As Kelly Keel looking to hunt down that 28 of George Rincon right now. He's slowly inching his way forward. Let's see if he can keep that momentum up. There he is right there at that bumper. Just not quite enough to get the move done there, but he's still there, hanging on that inside quarter panel.
Dustin really got a couple cars bearing down on him. He told us, hey, go high. I'm going to stick to the inside line here. Dave Hot Rod Mayberry right behind him. 82 of average to the outside. That's the 205 trying to pass. That's Ott, the leader.
Trying to get through some lap traffic here. So the top 10 are still currently on that lead lap. It looks like Jeff Ottinger is that last car on that lead lap, having a little battle here with the 224 of Kevin Haas. But of course, we got to say, you know, all this great race in action is brought to you by D&D Race Graphix. That's Graphix spelled Grafix. You can find them on Facebook and Trading Paints to get yourself a good quality paint that you see out here. Like some of these cars are racing some of those. Same thing with just out there in iRacing all in general. You can go get yourself a great paint done by them, as well as Mr. Ricky Wittenberg's real-life business of Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. Let me make sure I actually hit the right button. You can give Ricky a call there at 423-444-0454. Whether you're in that Johnson City, Tennessee area or across the country, go ahead and get yourself a good quality realtor that's going to be put to work for you, because that's what all that matters is your happiness, whether you're buying or selling a house. And this is a crazy market, so do not do it alone. Get yourself a good quality realtor. As that race in action between Ottinger and Haas continues to go on here. But same thing with Albert Anderson. He is trying to make a pass here on the 28 of Rincon. Looks like he's going to be able to squeeze on down through the inside. He's got Timothy Pope, by the looks of it, kind of stuck behind some of this lap traffic, and that is not what Timothy Pope wants.
47 cars on this track.
Ooh, and we're three wide.
A mile and a third long. Look at how crowded it's getting. Wide there for a second.
Oh, man, like I was saying, that's what the 728 does not want. He does not want three wide action here, as the 2 gets a little loose, looking to sneak his way down the inside of the 37. Now back to the outside. Man, Albert, he is trying everything in his power to make some passes here tonight, but it is just that difficult of a racetrack to pass at.
Yeah, and nobody's going to give it to him. You know, he's just showing you how hard it is. He's going to make a run on the outside here. We've seen some guys that have made some passes on the outside line, and he'll go ahead and take that position from the 37. Yeah. Actually, is that 4 position? I don't think it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was.
He's working harder than the real Mrs. Poindexter.
Oh, no.
A lot of guys are. Endicott.
Russ Endicott having a little bit of an issue trying to come down into pit lane there. Let's take a look back and see what happened to our friend in that 57. Unfortunately, having to start the day in the pits, but still out there running. Just could not get that thing checked up in time. It's got to be a little close to C. I think he might have saved it in time just before he got one of those black flag penalties. Excuse me for misspeaking there.
Ashley Osborne saying 3 wide. It's a crowd. That is 100% true. You take a mile and a third of any piece of highway around here and put 27 cars on it, that's going to be an easy drive, but these guys are all over each other.
I don't think it would. I think one of them have a pistol, and then somebody throws like a slushy at the other one.
A frozen daiquiri, yeah.
Then you may have some kind of issue, but yeah, these guys are making the best of the real estate out here tonight.
I've seen some 40-ounce frozen daiquiris being thrown. Just when they come out of the drive-through with it, they get mad at somebody or see somebody they remember they didn't like. That daiquiri goes flying. But as long as that straw stays taped to the lid, you can't get an open container ticket. That's the Louisiana law right there.
That's the workaround right there.
Scotch tape, man. That's like an unbreakable seal, I guess.
As the 205 of Jim Ott, your leader, has now passed the field up to 8th. So Austin Paul is sitting in that lucky dog spot with Eric Klafka now fighting to try to stay on this lead lap.
Dion Jones, one of these days, he's going to have his day. He's just struggling out there today. He's a couple laps down in that 4 machine. We saw him have a real loose race car early. He's out there still just putting along. He's you know, doing everything he can to be competitive, but just a rough day for Dion in the Ford.
Yeah, but we talk about him a bunch this season. He's really been improved. So don't let that discourage you, Dion, because I think he's coming a long way, and hopefully by the end of the season, we'll see him up there in the podium.
As we got the 285 of Greg Dobson looking to make a move here on the 37 of Dustin Riley, trying to get his rear bumper to that quarter panel, just not quite there as the 37. Man, that was almost like a door slam. He like the door was open, and then it wouldn't.
You guys are not playing out here today.
Yeah, any position matters, right?
That's exactly right.
You got to do the best you can because it does add up at the end of the season.
Not just for yourself, but for in this season for your team. Every point matters.
And it's like this point in the race, Albert Anderson, George Rincon are both the movers of the race up 9 spots. So we'll see.
Ashley Osborne, Jonathan's brother, or Jonathan's sister rather, saying, "Keep fighting out there, Anderson. Such a great show as always." It's cool to see the fans pulling for drivers other than their family as well out there.
As we are a little over 2/3 of this race, let's talk about Albert Anderson here. Man, I'm willing to call him the Rally Train driver of the day. Not only is he up 11 spots, but he had to do it twice, especially being involved in that incident early on.
Oh, I love that Rally Train. Yeah, he's a driver, man. I don't think his friends and family would show up if he was terrible at this. He's a damn good driver, and looking forward to seeing him maybe move up a little more.
As Mike Adamson, maybe with a change of game plans here, comes on into pit road very early. We weren't expecting them this early, but that 51 coming on down for that fresh set of tires and a new round of fuel. So he's looking like he's going to try to push it all the way to the end for the final 40 laps. And I know you guys said, you can get about, 45 or whatever on a fuel run here, but do you really want to run that long on a set of tires?
It's a calculated risk. He's going to go out there and get topped off. He'll be good to the end, but as you mentioned, he's going to lose a few seconds per lap to these guys that maybe get tires a little bit later. So, hey, it's calculated risk. Sometimes it pays off, though, to do the opposite.
Yeah, Numb Thumbs Gaming's Derek Welch is in doing the same thing, so we'll see.
Yeah, we will, and for fans of that 33 of Jess Vaught, do not worry. He has made up all the positions to get back into a top 3 spot right now. He's going to come on in to make an early pit stop here, so he's looking at maybe changing up that strategy a little bit here. But a couple drivers who aren't Jim Ott, Timothy Pope still out there driving around. Russ Kilgore is going to jump up into 3rd here for just a little bit as he stays out, but I'm expecting probably the rest of these guys will have all pitted by lap, what do you want to say, 120?
Yeah, I think 120 is probably a good marker.
30 laps to go, right around there.
Definitely.
Well, especially... Go for it.
I was going to say, I'll tell you what I've been impressed by today is everybody's discipline on pit road. We haven't seen any speeding penalties. Everybody's coming in, they're hitting 45 by the time they get to the cone, even if their car is spinning around sideways or backwards like we've seen a couple of guys. But Nobody busted for speeding yet that I've seen.
Yeah, that's not easy to do. I tried it last night. You watched me. It's tough getting in that pit road, and they're doing a great job. Yeah, they put in all the practice, the man hours. They put the liquid paper on a bee. It dies. I mean, they do it all.
And as you can see here, the battle. Of course, this isn't on that lead lap. This is where. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, man, Jim Ott. I haven't been paying attention, but he's lapped everybody all the way up into 4th. And Timothy Pope isn't too far away from that as well. But he's been kind of mired in this lap traffic a bunch and not able to make up the ground that he wants to that 205. And so this 205, man, he's sitting in a pretty good, as you would say, catbird seat. As, man, he's been kind of been given the gift of he can pretty much pit whenever he wants.
So we can talk about pit strategy a bunch. We haven't seen any cautions yet. That doesn't mean we're not going to see one late. If we do get a caution here with just a few laps to go, everybody's pit strategy is worth about as much as that Blockbuster card that's still in my wallet. It's not going to do you any good.
You got one too.
Yeah,
I love those things.
Man,
You really get the good movies.
those were gone before I was even old enough to own them. So we got a great three-way fight here for 5th right now. We got Austin Paul, Albert Anderson, and Jeff Ottinger all within striking distance of each other. Looks like the 2 and the 3 are going to go 2 wide here with Ottinger staring on. Just let these guys fight it out. Let them waste the tires so he can make the easy pass later on as Timothy Pope comes down into pit lane.
Yeah, he kind of hung on, I think, as long as he could until he realized it's now time.
And there goes that 2 of Albert Anderson. Still needs to make his next round of pit stops, but up into 4th right now. Eric Klafka sitting there in 2nd right now as well. And Kelly Keel, he's going to be in 3rd for right now until everything cycles back around. Jeff Ottinger, same thing with Mark Collins. Both on extremely old tires as here comes Eric Klafka down into pit lane, but they last pitted on 77 and 75. Mark Collins last pitting on that lap 75. So, man, these guys are really struggling onto the tires as Jim Ott, the leader, comes on down into pit lane.
Yeah, last few takers starting to come on down. We didn't want to try to put the broadcast first on anybody today as far as pit road speeding penalties go, but it looks like everybody's pretty much in the clear. Everybody's been practicing those green flag stops, it looks like.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Jeff Scott was the only one that had an issue, and he hit the wall, and it really hadn't hurt him too bad. Might have kept him from winning this thing, but he's still going to end up doing pretty well.
Still hanging in there.
Yes, Kelly Keel. He makes his way around the former leaders here, getting a lap back for the moment until he makes his pit stop. So Kelly getting one of those lead lap bonus points. All those important points as looks like here he comes now, that 0-1. Oh, he misses pit road, loses it down on the apron. He is going to be able to squeeze on in, but that we've seen some close calls coming in with no black flags, but that one's going to be a little close.
Yeah, I'm watching the board. Let's see if he gets an unsafe entry or anything. Nothing yet.
So then I think he is safe, but Jim Ott, by staying out that extra lap or two, man, that's allowed Timothy Pope to really close up that gap once again. It was 3 seconds before the pit stops. It's now just under a second, approaching half a second here for these two guys up here at the front. Jess Vaught, he's got a lot of work left to do. He's got about 8 seconds, 9 seconds, and he's going to have to try to hold off a charging Mike Adamson here, who's been making up some of this ground on the early pit stop strategy.
So Timothy Pope, we saw how conservative he was on his tires early. He's out there trying to push it a little bit harder. He set his fastest personal lap only a couple of laps ago. So, and this far into the race, he's starting to turn it up.
Yeah, who's turning it up too is...
Ooh, man.
Wow.
That was a aggressive move from Timothy Pope to kind of shoot out in front of the 11 Eric Klafka. Lap traffic getting in the way there a little bit, but man, Timothy Pope's got his eyes on the prize and he's not letting anything out.
Yeah, and same with Albert Anderson and George Tone. Those two are battling it out together the entire race. What a cool battle those guys got going on.
And Jess Vaught back here is kind of mired in this traffic as well. You can see the two kind of maybe trying to stay right behind him, knowing Jess is a really good driver and he can pick and prod his way on through this wad of cars. Looks like Jeff Ottinger as well. He's trying to make his way through this giant wad. It's kind of like what you see in an endurance race, really, is as the longer the race goes on, it's just these packs of cars form, and it's kind of weird. It's like not everyone's on the same lap, not everyone's racing for position, but everyone just finds themselves at the same spot on the track.
The 33 had such a huge run that I thought he probably thought about it for a second about splitting the 48 and the 01, but able to back out of it right there at the last second and checked up a couple cars behind him. But probably a wise decision there. I don't think going 3 wide with the 48 and the 01 right there in that part of the track would have been a good idea.
As Austin Paul makes a pass here on Mike Everidge to move up in a top 10th spot right now. Austin Paul right where he started on the day, so pretty good effort there for him as we got people coming on down into the pits and letting everything cycle all around. Oh, it's Russ Endicott having another issue here. He's down through the grass mowing the lawn on the infield here. He's going to have to be very careful rejoining this track. Looks like he will, but he's going to be very slow.
Looks like Chandler Paul done for the night. I think he got DQ'd on incident points. 72 disqualified.
Ooh, that's not good. Jonathan Osborne having a solid night in 7th place right now. Really been kind of quiet.
Yeah, Ashley's not quiet though. She's pulling for him over there on the YouTube as always. Thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us once again. Clapping along with the clap emoji.
As the 28 of George Rincon looks like he's trying to hunt down that 76 of Jeff Ottinger here in a top 15 battle. Same thing with Albert Anderson. He is slowly inching his way up to that 01 of Kelly Keel. So you got the drivers of the 01, the 3, and the 2 all right around each other. Of course, all 3 drivers, man, they're all on different race teams.
Pop saying that pit stop, their last pit stop, is going to be the most critical one. It's all about hitting your box, not making any mistakes, making sure you've got everything checked on that checklist that needs to be there. You can't make a mistake there, especially if we're staying green for the whole thing.
And that is for sure, as that battle for the lead's heating up, almost taking the bumper to Jim Ott. Timothy Pope using every inch of space that bumper will give, trying to get himself up into that lead spot, just not quite able to make it happen. Second here.
I love to see the fight in these guys. Talk about some mild-mannered guys running up here in front, but they're not afraid to mix it up and get a little bit physical out here on the racetrack.
But they do get a little physical, but I don't hear any anger and hatred. That's what I want to hear. I mean, let's act like we're shooting dice in Waco on a Saturday night. Somebody pulls out a knife and somebody pulls out a 22.
Derringer, yeah.
Yeah, that's what needs to happen here.
The Derringer in the boot is like a mandatory fashion accessory if you're in one of those Central Texas counties.
Yeah, well, that's still probably should upgrade their Derringer status to something else. But if you shoot them right between the mother and the other, it'll at least put them down.
As we were side by side for the lead there, just not able to get the run was the 728 of Timothy Pope. So the 205 Jim Ott does hang on to that lead spot for right now, as Kelly Keel still having a battle. He's got Kevin Haas beat right now, moving up into that top 10. You can see there the 2 of Albert Anderson now trying to get on past that 224 as well.
Oh, I did hear a little anger out there on the radio.
Yeah, I figured you heard that. A little discussion about
Poke Salad Tony was involved in that.
lap car courtesy may have been the issue of the exchange we heard on the.
But I think one of them was, they were correct. Even though you're a lap car, fight for everything you can, right?
Yeah, it was only one lap down, was his argument.
Right.
And it was as a Chandler Man, Mr. 72 driver. If you got us on there, check your DMs. As that battle for first is still going hot, still nose to tail, and lap traffic starting to get involved. You can see there the 81 of Jonathan Osborne, who I believe just recently finished his round of pit stops here. He is last pitted on lap 90, so he's still hasn't made that last pit stop, which he might be staying out here for the long haul. He's not gonna make it, I don't think.
Chandler just replied to you over there on YouTube. He says, yep, out on that incident, that last one was on me, but the first wreck gave me a 6X, so that kind of set him up for failure, I guess, for the rest of the race. And man, when it's razor thin margin like that, and one wreck causes that many incident points, yeah, the little things come back to bite you. Sucks to see him get DQ'd out there. Next week, Road America. What are you guys expecting for that one?
Ooh, man, we've seen some Xfinity racing there between all the leagues that we've done, and that's a tough track. Let alone in a GT car, let alone one of these NASCAR cars, and the hardest of the NASCAR cars to drive being these Xfinity ones. Man, you got a lot of hard braking zones where we're going to see a lot of mistakes. So, man, if you think you know who's going to win that one, man, you better guess again, because that one's almost as big of a gamble as Talladega.
Yeah, that's the one where there's a hill there, you can't see over it, and then I think in the trucks it's a little easier, but they're going to find out. Like Brown said, this is the most difficult car to drive in this whole NASCAR series. And it's gonna be rough.
Yeah,
better get those practice in.
Chandler Paul says he's not going to be at Road America. I guess he's got something else going on. He said everybody else have fun. These guys do have a couple of drop weeks, so their lowest two scores of the season will be dropped automatically. So if these guys choose not to go to a race, it won't count against them as long as they don't have too many DNFs. I've run Xfinity cars at Road America a few times, and the thing about that I can't get a handle on it is when you're at the top of a hill, and your suspension just completely unloads, and then you put any steering input into it at all. I have such a hard time keeping a car straight, especially the Xfinity cars.
Man, as we have a good battle here between Austin Paul, Albert Anderson, and Kelly Kill. But speaking of Chandler Paul, how about we talk to the man here for a quick little interview before we enter the final 10 laps of this race. So here we go. We got Chandler Man of that 72, Chandler Paul, joining us up here. Unfortunate day for you there, Chandler. I know you were hoping for a better result out there, but I know you're still hanging around that Discord cheering on some of your Cult of Chaos teammates. I know you got Austin Paul hanging around, having a great battle here with Albert Anderson, but just talk about how grueling this race is, especially at this track. Ooh, it's 3 wide here.
Yeah, first off, just want to say thanks to everybody on Cult of Chaos for, sticking with this. And it is a difficult track. Just going there to the weekend and watching the actual Cup guys and the Xfinity guys and the trucks and seeing how much they had a handful of it. So I kind of took that in the notes today, but honestly, it seemed like it didn't help. I went back and looked back at that instant replay, and it looked like me and another team member, which is the 48, got completely ran over. So hopefully, I know I try to stay clean, but that last one, man, it got me. It's a tough track. I I try to practice as much as I can. It's I know it's Austin's favorite. It's not really much mine. It's like my top 5, but it's a hard track to learn, but it's so much fun watching you get it down.
Well, we're going to miss you next week at Road America, but you guys got a couple built-in drop weeks, so I think you'll be fine for the rest of the season. What are you looking forward to most this season? We know y'all have a pretty wide variety of tracks. You like these abrasive 1.5 miles and short tracks where it kind of eats your tires up, don't you?
Yeah, I mean they're not bad. Short tracks definitely aren't one of my favorites, mainly for the fact that I'm not very good at them. But if I can get anything down, it would be that. Honestly, I think the main one I'm looking forward to is Michigan and possibly Charlotte. Those two, because I think I can actually get decent speed on those. But yeah, I think Austin and Eric both got a pretty fast car. Jack he's still hanging in there after getting run over by Albert, so he's trying to battle hard. But yeah, hopefully they can Cult of Chaos can stick it out, and hopefully Austin and Eric can both just maybe get a lap back and try to squeeze into that top 5. It'd be nice.
Awesome to hear your perspective on it. I like to hear a little bit of anger and stuff from the driver. So cool to hear y'all always remember who kind of run you over and stuff like that, right? So maybe put it forward in a few weeks or near the end of the season. You gotta pick your battles.
Well, I've already paid Mike Everidge back. He's the one that ran me over in the very beginning. We're squared. All right. I've been so mad, but I blocked him when I was like 2 laps down. I blocked him for 2 full laps. So and then I got Russ Endicott to pick him. So then he had to get around both of us. So I say that's even since I'm gone next week due to work, and hopefully whenever we come back to Charlotte, that 1 week off, I'll be ready, and hopefully I can get some speed and try to at least do something. If not, then at least the team-wise, the big picture. It's always the team picture.
Yeah, that's you are right on that one. Well, Chandler, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us here tonight. We're going to let you go here as we're now into the final 5 laps of this race, and let you get back in there and root on your teammates.
All right, thank you guys so much.
So like I said, we're now inside 5 laps to go. Having a great race here for 4th and 5th between Mike Adamson and Russ Kilgore. Same thing with a race for 10th. It looks like Jeff Ottinger and Kelly Keel battle for that top 10 spot, going at it here a little bit, as Jim Ott is now a 2.5 seconds clear of Timothy Pope. I think Jim has just been getting a little bit better luck fighting through some of this lap traffic.
Yeah, he probably has. They see the leader and they get out of the way, and then next thing you know, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place guys behind them, so they might panic a little bit. I've been that guy. I've been lapped a billion times in iRacing, so it's tough. They're doing their best out there as a lap car, but Jim Ott is really navigating it well.
That he is, as Mike Everidge moves up into 12th, as Kevin Haas making a very late pit stop. I wonder if he didn't negotiate the fuel just right. So 3 laps now remain for Jim Ott currently out there in that lead. Mike Adamson, though, he's all balled up in a big bunch of traffic. He's got the 222 and the 28 in front of him, and he's having his hands full while trying to hang on and hold off that 7, who's now going to try to follow that 222 down through the bottom line here. Side-by-side race in action for a 4th place position spot. And it looks like Russ Kilgore is going to be able to just sneak that one away as they came across the line.
Yeah, Adamson might not be able to get a race win here tonight, but he can get a good, strong finish up there with his teammate, who's currently running in 2nd place.
Yeah, you got Jim Ott out there taking the white flag here at Nashville Super Speedway. Still running away with it. Absolutely no pressure behind. Just turns 3 and 4 to go running that bottom line like he has all race long. This man has absolutely conquered this concrete as he comes across the line and picks up the win here tonight. Of course, as all of that goes on, Timothy Pope is going to finish in second. Jess Vaught in third. Russ Kilgore still trying to hold off a little bit of a Mike Adamson charge here, but looks like Russ is going to hang on to that fourth place. Same thing with Mike. He's in fifth, as well as Jeff Ottinger. Kind of one of the final battles that was going on out there on the track. Looks like he was able to just not quite get the job done there on Kelly Keel.
Exciting race, exciting finish there as well.
I had a little drama at the end there behind
Yeah,
some of
did.
the leaders. With the Adamson, I don't know if we'll get into all that just yet, but interesting.
Well, while the top three are taking their final picture, we still have some stuff to clean up. One of them is the random driver of the day, so I'll hit this generate button, and that's going to choose the finishing position of the driver for Lucky Driver of the Day. We had 26 drivers complete this race, so here we go. 1, 2, and 3. It's going to be smack dab in the middle. 15th place finisher of Greg Dobson. So congratulations there, Greg.
And our super fan of the race this week goes to Ashley Osborne. Thank you so much, Ashley, for cheering on not just your brother, but a couple of other guys out there on the racetrack. We appreciate all your input today. And, man, besides Ashley, it's been a bunch of Albert Anderson supporters. So you got Anderson supporters and you got Ashley Osborne on there tonight. So thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us here for Nashville.
Excellent. So as we wait for the broadcast waiting room to fill up with some drivers here tonight.
Well, they're too busy taking their picture down there, I think. Down there in 1, 2, 3, they like to take a picture every race, so.
That they do. So in the meantime, I know Mr. English, you got your hands full there right now. So I will start pulling people up, and we'll start off with tonight's third place finisher, and that's Mr. Jess Vaught. Jess, you had a very solid run going there early, but about right there for the pit stop number 2. Did Tim throw out some marbles on you or something? Because man, that was just rough.
Yeah, I think he had that 007 oil slick. But so as I came in behind, my mistake was I'm using paddle shifters, and I kind of double clutched my downshift when I wasn't intending to, and that's what got me.
Well, it's a long season this season, and I mean, we're just getting started. What is this, race 5? And
Yep.
We're already seeing who the strong runners are. At one point tonight, we had, I think, 4 guys that are rookies in the top 5 in the running order. Your rookie threats out here are starting to make themselves known. How do you battle these guys? I mean, you just got to out-practice them or what?
Yeah, it's about the same as any other season. We bring in good folks and turn around, you got to battle with them. And we recognized that from the beginning. If it wasn't for some bad luck, I think New Hampshire, maybe Jim Ott probably would have had that race in the bag. And then we've seen these other Welch up front a lot, and yeah, it's a stout rookie class. It's hard to call them rookies; they're just rookies of this league, And then, but overall, this whole field's got tons of talent. So if you come here expecting not to battle for every inch, then you're in the wrong place.
We saw some of that, and I liked a little bit of the battling going on there at the end. But what do you think about Road America? Next week is going to be interesting. What are your thoughts on that, and how are you going to attack that course?
I personally like road course races. I know it's not everybody's forte. I'm not the best here. Some of these other guys are going to be up there, and maybe if I get a little fortunate, my team gets a little fortunate, we can get top 5, top 10, and maybe even a win. But it's going to be flag to flag there most likely. It's unlikely we're going to have a big pile up that would cause a course wide yellow flag, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that it should be. Well, congratulations, at least sticking this one out there, Jess. You fought hard back from that little incident to get a solid podium spot here in third. That's looking very good for your championship run here, as you're way out in I can't say way out in front, but you're out in front by a nice little chunk here, and that's top 3 finishes definitely never hurt. But before we let you go, you got any shout outs or anything like that for you?
Nah, as always, shout out to my wife Lori, outstanding work she puts in, and all the stuff behind the scenes that people don't see. She does a great job and really supports me in this league. Shout out to my teammates, Kelly Cool, Dustin really, and Dave Mayberry. You know, solid guys, always there for you, willing to work. And the overall league as always, and you guys for the broadcast. Great broadcast. Nice recovery last week, by the way. You guys coming back and posting 2 videos on it. I still was thoroughly entertained, guys.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate it, and once again, congrats on the 3rd place finish, and look forward to seeing what you guys can do at some right-hand stuff here this season.
You bet, guys. Take care.
Yeah, the Gremlins. The video Gremlins got us last week, man.
We're good to this week, weren't we?
Oh no, we were very good here this week. As
awesome.
We get up to another driver who was good this week. As always, that's that 728 of Mr. Timothy Pope. Tim, rough night out there. You were swapping positions with Jim Ott quite often, just maybe not having the tires there later on in the run.
Yeah, they were gone. I was trying to stay up with him to try to force him to make a mistake or burn his stuff up, but he scrubbed the wall a couple times, but just couldn't capitalize on it. At the end there, my tires just was gone.
Well, I was watching your lap times, and you really didn't. You weren't real aggressive with tires or anything for about the first 3/4 of the race. We saw your time starting to pick up towards the end. Was that kind of a desperation sitting in, and just trying to see how hard you could push those tires?
Yeah, I started out when I got behind there. I messed up on my pit stop. The next to last one, and he got 3 or 4 seconds ahead of me. So I was trying to close the gap within about a couple seconds so I could short pit it and try to make up that little bit of time. I pitted 1 or 2 laps where he did, but he still came out in front of me.
Well, I mean, you're still on the podium. Great job. Next week, Road America. What do you think?
I don't know. Never.
That's a pretty good answer. That's a pretty good answer. Well, I bet you'll put in a couple laps and you'll be just fine, man. Hey, good job. Awesome race. I enjoyed watching this one.
Yeah, it was a good one. Thank you.
Yeah, Tim. Well, congrats on that 2nd place finish here tonight. Before we let you go, got any of your shout-outs you got?
Oh, yeah, Limitless Motorsports. We are all top 15 again. Vigilante for putting races on you for broadcasting and everything.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations and good luck in the practice, and hopefully you can manage a good finish here next week at Road America.
All right, catch y'all next week.
Hey, those team points, they're really going to come into factor this season. That's going to add a whole new dimension of fun, and I can't wait to see how it shakes out.
You are not kidding. As we bring up our lucky driver of the day, that's that 285 of Greg Dobson. Had a very good day here for you there, Greg. Up 8 spots, a top 15 finish. You're sitting pretty good there tonight.
Yeah, wasn't too terrible at all. Had a decent run. My qualifying definitely could have been better. I had the one hot lap going out, and yeah, I tried to gun it too hard going off of turn 4 into the quali, and for the 2nd lap, ended up clipping the wall and scrapping that lap. So unfortunately, I was stuck with the 31.2. I think I'd thrown down there.
Yep.
Nice. Challenging racetrack. Honestly, didn't get any practice in before the 8 o'clock practice session went up tonight, so I was glad that I got a half decent handle on it. Had a couple of good runs. Had a little incident with Russ Endicott at the end of the race. He was trying to give way to me. I cut up underneath him coming off a turn, ran into him a little hard. Sorry there, Russ. And had one driver kept on dueling with a couple times this race was Dustin Reilly. Had had to pass him on track a couple of times tonight, and he ended up getting it back in the pits. My first stop, I ended up driving through my stall, but the others, I didn't think I did that terribly, but he kept on coming out in front of me, so had to make a couple passes, and yeah, made up some spots. Definitely not a half bad night being inside of the top 15.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch you, and we didn't see a whole lot of. I don't think we saw a single pit road speeding penalty tonight. I think a lot of people really took it serious and really practiced those pit stops, because they'll really kill you here, especially when you guys turn so many green flag laps. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some controversy we heard tonight. Some guys talking about maybe not getting treated with the right amount of etiquette by some of the lap cars out there. We didn't really see that with any anybody in your immediate area, but is that kind of a concern going forward, especially when you get a field that's so spread out and so many cars down a lap? Do you see that as a problem, or do you have any kind of solution?
I think it's kind of driver dependent. Most of us, myself,
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's because I'm Canadian, we're just generally nice.
No, very polite.
Yeah, I see somebody rolling up on me, and they've obviously got a run they get within a couple tenths that it can be on me in the next turn. I will definitely give way. It depends. Have there been any cautions throughout the race in the evening? Are you that lucky dog? You may want to race a little harder to make sure you're hanging on to that spot inside of the lap down. But for the most part, if I get leaders coming up on me, I know I don't have a chance of getting around them or anything like that unless it's a super speedway. Some of these guys are so good. They've got such good equipment and all their training and practice that they put in that, guys like Tim and Jim Ott, I'm just going to let them have the spot and no fight at all. But yeah, I think it's driver preference, whether they want to try and fight and hang on to that spot. Over the driver radio, I think it was Adamson had somebody they thought they were fighting a little harder for the spot than necessary. I'll have to get out and check a replay really to have a look at it. But on occasion, people drive a little too hard, maybe do some stupid things. Only had the one real wreck at the start of the race there that 3 or 4 cars got involved in, but it was tail end of the field. The racing surface got clear by the time the leaders came around, so no caution on that. Everything stayed pretty green here for the rest of the race. So
The best thing I learned there is Canadians are nice. And
in general,
right.
compared to everybody else running into Americans on the street, half of the time, Canadians can't tell the difference in accents between Americans and Canadians. We say something, and Americans can often pick us out right away and go, "You're Canadian," just because of a word like "about" or whatever the heck it is. The only ones I can pull out easy is Newfoundlanders, the guys way out east on the water. But the rest of the Canadians, I can't tell the difference in speech between a Canadian and American, at least the ones without a heavy Southern accent anyway. The Southern guys are usually pretty easy to pull off. But
well, awesome, dude. Trailer Park Boys are out east, I think, so you can always tell them. You can pick them out.
yeah, those guys are pretty funny. Seen a couple episodes, not a series I've gotten heavy into. Corner Gas, I think, is a pretty funny one from out in the prairies, but yeah, some good stuff. Corner Gas, Trailer Park Boys, Letterkenny. Some good programs.
Yeah, that they are. Well, Greg, bringing home a top 15 finish, it's always good. I know you probably got some shout-outs out there for people.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Obviously, the wood kind of paint scheme that I got in my car is the bowling center that I work for, that I'm a manager at. So shout out to Stellar Lanes. Owners John and Lorraine. Anybody else out there watching? I sent a couple of web links. I think Richard may be out and watching. Mom, Dad, thanks for letting me have a computer, getting a little tech savvy, and yeah, thanks for having me out tonight, guys.
Awesome. Well, Greg, we appreciate it and wish you the best of luck next week, and hopefully we get you up here in the booth again.
Yeah, I think we're heading out to a road course. Not using my strongest suits, but I think we're going to put in a bunch of practice this next week and make sure I can try and get some shifting and acceleration points and not be too terrible at it anyway.
That, well, only time will tell, so we'll see you next week.
Will do. Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
All right, so with that, we can now pull up the big race winner here tonight. 205 of Jim Ott. Man, Jim, you have absolutely conquered this concrete surface, and I'm sure you're probably hoping we run a few more concrete tracks, especially coming away with a big win like you did here tonight.
It wasn't easy, guys. It wasn't easy. Timothy, he was fast off the go, and I had a set up for the long run, and I relied on that heavily tonight. But what a tough race.
This league, I think, as a whole, you almost have to plan for, a long run car because, with admin only cautions, this is another one of those races that went flag to flag. We had one earlier in the season that would have went flag to flag, but we had a kind of a miscue up in the booth. But yeah, you pretty much got to go into every week, planning for zero cautions. And you had the strategy tonight, and it worked out for you. But next week's going to be a little bit different. Y'all got 50 laps at Road America coming up. You looking forward to that, or are you kind of dreading it?
I don't know. I've never been much of a road course racer, but I enjoy the challenge. So I'll put the work in and see what we can do. I'd love to come out with a top 5 if possible, but yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Well, you did it all tonight. Good job, P1. Shout outs or anything before we let you go?
Yeah, I appreciate these admins. It got kind of chippy out there tonight. It was a frustrating race around, and they put up with us. And you guys, your broadcast, really enjoy watching that. And teammates for helping me practice, get through this one, and family and friends for watching, guys.
We appreciate it, man, and hopefully you can ride this momentum to a road course. How are you feeling about road courses like Road America?
We'll see. I mean, that's a technical track, so definitely going to have to put a good amount of practice in, and I guess we'll see.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on the big win here this week, bringing that 205 home in the top dog spot. We look forward to seeing what you can do the rest of the season here, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right.
It definitely got chippy out there, Alan. I'd pick a little stronger word than chippy, but man alive, what crazy good racing we saw today.
Man, you are not kidding. It was a phenomenal race, and we expect that from Vigilante. We expect amazing race in action like we see here each and every week, and especially at the schedule that these guys have put out here for this season. We've had just A-plus quality tracks worth of racing here, and I mean, it just keeps getting better and better as this season continues to go right on along. As it looks like we're running a little bit late here, so let's go ahead and talk about tonight's finishing order of drivers as Jim Ott picks up that big win here for his rookie season, as the 728 of Timothy Pope just coming up a little bit short there, finishing in second. 33 of Jess Vaught had a very solid comeback after that miscue down pit road, able to finish in that top 3 at third spot. Russ Kilgore, Rocket Man, in that 7. Man, keeping those 4 wheels on that racing surface does a lot for him. He's up into 4th of 8 spots on the day, so great run from Russ. You have Mike Adamson in that 51, just losing out, but staying inside that top 5 here tonight. Great job from him. Same thing with the 11 of Eric Klafka, able to have a solid 6th place finish. You also have that 208 of Derek Welch, who's just kind of plugged his way along here tonight, as he was just kind of moseying on through some of this field. Solid 7th place for him, as Albert Anderson, America's driver, and some of that chippiness that we heard. Gonna be your hard charger of the day, up 13 spots, bringing that 2 machine home in 8th. The 3 of Austin Paul also had a solid run here tonight to finish in 9th, with the 01 of Kelly Keel coming home with a top 10 finish.
Bottinger finishes in 11th in that number 76 machine. Michael Everidge in the 82, not so lucky tonight. He's still up 6 spots, though, to finish in 12th position. George Rincon, solid run tonight. Still finishes one of those cars 1 lap down, but up a bunch of spots. Solid run for the 28. Dave Hot Rod Mabry Started in 7th spot, dropped 7 spots to finish in 14th. The driver of the 29 definitely wanted a little bit better finish tonight, but not able to make it happen. Greg Dobson at 285. We talked to him for a little while. One of our resident Canadians up a bunch of spots to snag a top 15. Mark Collins, one of our Numb Thumbs drivers out there in the 223, started way up front, right there in 3rd position, inside row number 2, but he'll finish in 16th position. Jonathan Osborne in the 81 started in the top 10. He'll finish back in 17th spot. Still a solid middle of the pack finish for Jonathan. Nathan Stanley, another Numb Thumbs guy, 267 car. He'll finish in 18th place. 19th will go to Kevin Haas in the 224. And Tony Polk in the 222 will round out your top 20.
Yeah, 21st place, Dustin Reilly. Looks like 22nd place, Dion Jones, down 2. 23rd, Robert Jordan in the 74. 24th place, the 48 of Jack Dixon. 25th, 211 of Chad McCabe. 26th place in the 57 car was Russ Endicott. And we talked to Chandler Paul there in 27th. The number 72 car, Chandler Paul, will finish this thing out.
And that is your field here from Nashville Super Speedway. As always, we thank you all for tuning in and watching. I see Expo Cosplay coming in with the raid here late, so we definitely appreciate all of you guys coming on in and hanging out. So thank you. Same thing with Fallen God 343 coming out here late, saying, hey guys, we definitely appreciate each and every single one of you, because you guys are the reason why we do this. Something dropped. Otherwise it'd just be 3 idiots talking about racing, and no one really wants to see that. So we appreciate each and every single one of you guys, as well as the proud sponsors of D&D Race Graphix. That's Grafix. You can reach out to Ricky Wittenberg there over on Facebook and Trading Paints to get yourself a good quality paint made, whether it's for a truck, one of these Xfinity cars, one of the NASCAR Cup cars, any of the dirt cars. Man, Ricky can pretty much paint it all. He does a fantastic job, so definitely go give him some love on that one. Same thing with Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. Go ahead and give Ricky a call at 423-444-0454 if you're looking to buy or sell your house in that Johnson City, Tennessee area or across the country, because man, he's got contacts all over the place, and he can get you hooked up with a realtor, whether it's him himself or one of his friends out there across the area to help you out, because this market is absolutely insane. Do not buy or sell your house alone. Get yourself a good quality realtor. So with that, we look forward to seeing you all next week at Road America. But until then, I'm Alan Brown. For Alan English and Adam Turner, we're signing off for tonight, fellas. Have a good one.
We go.
See ya.